time. Can I just
What up, virtual people?
Oh,
Welcome to the 109th episode of VCR Redux. We take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2023. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, and finally back after a long time away from the VCR, host of the Still Fabulous podcast and deep in the throes of his Blonde Ambition tour, Bobby Masters back on the show.
I would like to talk about Madeline Ashton.
You came to the right place. This is the place, and now is the time. And rounding out this righteous crew.
We worked so hard, and it's been 6 months, and this is all you do. This is how far we've gotten. I'm sick to death of hearing about Madeline Hall.
I thought you were going to say it's been 6 months since I was on the show. I was like, it's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Bobby's
Death becomes her.
Bobby's on the VCR high scoreboard.
Just don't ring that till your hands bleed.
Rounding out this righteous crew, coming to you all the way from the city of Queens, screenwriting sensation and one of my favorite people, Coyne is finally back on the show.
Yeah!
Hi, internet people. Lovely to see you again.
Thank you so much for coming back on the show, guys. We are here today to find the fountain of 90s youth because this world needs Death Becomes Her 2 just for men, and we're here to give it to you. But before we can ask what Willis is talking about, we got a dish on how Death Becomes Her came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that includes everyone watching in the live chat as well. Was it Love at First Laserdisc, Vital VHS? Hit us up in the chat and let us know how Death Becomes Her came into your lives. So, Caitlin, do you remember the first time you saw Robert Zemeckis' Death Becomes Her?
I absolutely cannot. I feel like that's like a classic movie that has been in your life so many times, you know, that you rewatch and rewatch and rewatch, that you like beg friends to see these days, because I think it's just such a movie that, like, what? You haven't seen Death Becomes Her? I'm going to tape you to this chair and not let you leave until you've seen this brilliant cinematic masterpiece. So,
well put.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's one of those you rewatch and rewatch and rewatch, and each time it's fresh and brand new.
Well put, well put. Bobby, do you have memories of the first time?
I mean, I got to agree with Caitlin on this, only because I was like 2 years old when this movie came out, so I definitely did not see it when it came out.
You freaking baby.
Oh, gross.
But I just remember it being in my life, you know?
God, what are you,
Because like,
12?
I probably saw it on like HBO or like Showtime or something in the late 90s. And then it's just been like a reoccurrence. Like, I'm always watching it.
I feel like this was, a frequent HBO hitter.
I did get to see it in Hollywood Forever Cemetery last summer in LA on the big screen. That was really cool.
Please tell me that there was a celebrity there, like Meryl Streep was there or something.
Well, I went
Bobby
with my
was
friend
there.
Latanya. I went with my friend Latanya, who was on The Secret World of Alex Mack, so she's a celebrity. But unfortunately, Meryl Streep was not there.
Bobby, she was there with you because you're a celebrity. All right, how did young Iowa Ethan?
Right here, I was the celebrity there.
How did young Iowa Ethan?
Ethan? The audacity!
It's a tongue trot.
109 episodes. You can't even remember my freaking name. Good.
How did Ian Ziering, my co-host with the most?
Okay.
Where?
All right, how did Iowa Ian come into this? What gas station pizza were you munching on when you watched this gem of a flick?
Well, to tell you honestly, Frank, what I remember watching, the first thing I remember of this though was actually, remember back in the day, HBO had HBO First Look.
Yes, I don't know how I knew that, but I knew it.
I remember watching this on HBO First Look because I was always obsessed with those HBO First Looks. You know, because let's be honest, those were the first documentary like DVD extra making of that we knew.
They were DVD extras before we had
before
DVDs.
That was the thing. Exactly. So I used to just thrive on when HBO had a First Look.
I watched the first look of so many shit movies that I didn't give a fart about, just because like I wanted to learn something about filmmaking.
But let me tell you, the best one ever, HBO First Look of Congo. Best thing you'll ever know in your life.
The Net, the one for The Net got me really amped to see that movie. I was like, yeah, like The Net, this is the way it works now. They can just delete you with the computer and you're fucked.
Hey,
You
nothing
know,
like
some of those first looks are on DVDs, right? I have
some of
them
on Warner Brothers, because Warner
yeah,
Brothers
only
owns...
Warner Brothers ones though.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, they'll put it on those. So I remember watching this and just being obsessed with wanting to see this movie, because to me, this was 100% a Tales from the Crypt movie, and we'll get to that because you know Robert Zemeckis, and so they really promoted this. And I remember it being on. It premiered on a Saturday, right? And I'm assuming, and I'll tell you, I'm assuming this was when we went to go get Pizza Hut. All right, because Pizza Hut is where you went as a 90s baby to celebrate life. So I believe we got Pizza Hut, and the Saturday movie was Death Becomes Her.
You were living
what a
large.
time to be alive, yeah.
Yeah, that's like.
Listen, these kids
we were
are
kings.
always like,
we had no idea.
These kids were like, you know, all the time are like, oh, the 90s were so cool. I wish I was there. And I'm like, yeah, you should have been. It was cool. Like, technology wasn't as great, but we had enough of what we needed. All right.
That takes me back to like Little Caesars pizza, like the Bigfoot, the
good Little Caesars.
Pizza. Yeah, the good Little Caesars.
There was nothing. Listen,
Little
I love
Caesars
Little
was the
Caesars
bomb.
today, but Little Caesars 1993.
It was the bomb.
The
Oh
shat.
my god.
It was the shat.
I'm from New York. I never ate Little Caesars pizza in my life.
Oh, well, that's fair.
All my years.
Well, we grew up in like the suburbs,
there,
you know.
Sure.
Give us a break, you know. When you're 10,
Well, when
you don't even know.
When you have Roberto's Pizza right down the road, I mean, you go to Roberto's. I mean, that's
when you're 10 years old, you think chicken McNuggets are fucking lobster, you know. So
I still think that.
Best
I still think that.
you said ever on this show. That was poetry. I want that on a shirt, and you sell it to me now.
only 3 times have I gotten that reaction on Ian in my life. So I don't think that's it. Those are the 3 times. I'm never getting that again. Shit. I wore it out on that stupid line. Damn it.
Sorry, sir.
Could have been way better. Lobster, you know, lobster ravioli or something. I could have fancied it up a little. So I'll get to
just kind of farted it into nothingness. So congratulations.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. I'll just talk my way out of anything good, right? Anyway, I will get to the first time I watched this movie. It's actually one of my favorite back in the day film nerd stories, but I want to see what's going on in the chat. I want to see who's in there, and I'm trying to scroll back. Did I go too far? Or no, okay.
When do
let's
you
see.
not
Who's in the
go
chat?
too far?
I was gonna say
No, with the I'm trying to scroll to the beginning of the chat, and I'm like, shit, the chat's wild already. So Miyagi Do Forever, Angie Saunders, It's Cobra Kai, Mikey Riffraff, Jason Michalak, Azah XA, Monica Thyman, Alex Bonafonte, Oscar Toronzo so far in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. A lot of love for Death Becomes Her. Oscar Toronzo says also one of the first movies that use those advanced video effects. Perfect cast. Doctor that treats Meryl Streep is the same doctor you see in Eyes Wide Shut, who's a good point, and is also a famous director. The great Sidney Pollack, who I just thought was an actor until I was like 30 years old. I never knew that was that, you know,
probably
like
the best part
old.
of the whole freaking movie. I know we'll get there, but God,
yeah, you have no pulse. Your
best part of this whole movie.
58 degrees.
When he sees her neck and jumps back, I love that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. We gotta. I'm gonna get a second
What the
opinion.
best part on this movie, honestly. I think beginning to end, it's gold.
Well, speaking of gold, Gold's Code in the chat says, "Where's Mickey? I hope he made bail." And it looks like Ian's an undercover cop from Miami Vice.
I look like the guy trying to be the narc, trying to be cool to try and infiltrate, but it doesn't work.
Hello, fellow.
You guys know where I could
too
ride
enjoy the
some of
marijuana
that
cigarette.
fine dragon?
Yeah, hey, you
looking to-
hipster kids. Yeah.
Y'all looking to party with some marijuana? Uh, Alex Bonafonte though says it was HBO. Jason Michalak saw it at the theater in '92.
Ah,
Gold's Code says, I remember this movie was lauded for its special effects, but much like Ian's film knowledge, it fails to hold up in the modern day.
good Lord.
I love it. Gold's Code is never
He
short
is,
of
you
spicing
are
up
just
this
a
show.
snippy snapper. That's a-
It's Cobra Kai says, my little sister used to get scared of it. Alex Bonafonte said Meryl Streep is too hot in it. Xander
Meryl
Mars says,
Streep
I God, I haven't seen this in
is
so
hot.
long. Gold's Code says again, I'm sorry, Ian. Does Police Academy 5 know you rated their wardrobe? Again, I'm sorry. It's just
That's
there.
one of the best ones.
That is a
Oh
pretty
my
good one, I
gosh.
gotta say.
As long as you didn't say 4 citizens on patrol. Like,
We're only 10 minutes in, Ian.
So
oh, I know it's coming. I know.
that and Monica Thyman saw it on TV the first time, absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for tuning in again, Monica, who sings like a bird. Yeah, man, use the peanut colony. Okay, so I'm just trying to catch. All right, Pizza Hut in the '90s, some love for that. So the first time young Styles watched this movie, I guess the year was 1992 or 1993 or whatever it was when it finally came out on VHS. I was not able to see it in theaters, but I proudly rented it as soon as it was a new release. I remember watching it in like this room that was like next to my parents' bedroom that just had like a TV and a VCR in it and like nothing else. So I used to just sit on the floor and watch movies in there for hours as a little
So
kid.
your office, basically.
Yeah, that was my office when I was like 5 years old. I'd go there and I watch like The Running Man and like Gremlins and shit like that, and
So
Death
Running
Becomes
Man.
Her. And you know, this is the thing that I love about this is we rented this movie in 1990 whatever and never fucking ever returned it. And we just kept renting movies from Blockbuster. And like we rented so many movies from Blockbuster that they just eventually had to just like forget about it because like we were the only fucking account there that had 2,000 rentals at one
You
point.
scanned the system. Good for you.
Yeah, well, you know something? Who's laughing now, Blockbuster? I'm still going
Who
strong. Where are you
survived?
guys? Who survived? Yeah.
You probably still have that in a box somewhere.
There are people,
But-
you know that there are people that will actually pay you for Blockbuster, like in the box Blockbuster, like if you have it in, they'll pay you for it.
I'm about to be rich. I'm about to make some money. I didn't know about that.
Yes,
Yeah,
Bobby.
good for you, Bobby. Good for you.
I
Get
still have my
that cash.
Blockbuster card somewhere.
Then they
That's
were
about it.
business. They
Yeah,
were
there literally are collectors out there who want it in the box. Like they want people, they know people are out there that have those. And to be honest, those are collector's items now. If you really think about it, you know, and like give it another 20, like think about this in about another 20 years, which isn't that long if you know, in the grand scheme of things.
But then
But
it will he'll be 50 years from the 90s.
yes, like literally, it'll be
Yeah.
like your parents'
The worst.
old Ford Fairlane. Like it's like it would be like a classic.
No, it'll be like your
vintage car.
grandparents, like fucking like Studebaker or some shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it'll like people be like, what is, our grandkids will be like, what is this? It's like, well, there used to be this thing called the video store. You know, we used to go there.
And this was
Mine was called the boob tube.
The boob
boob
tube.
tube.
Yeah. We
Well,
didn't
this
have
was-
Blockbuster. There was a boob tube.
This was, and you know, to that point, Dustin Nino says first time he saw this was a rental. So this was very much like a blockbuster night kind of movie, I feel.
Yeah.
And like
And-
I just loved it. You know, I love this era of Zemeckis. This is like the weird Zemeckis era from like Roger Rabbit to like I don't even know. I guess up to Forrest Gump. Then he gets back into like the mainstream a little bit more, but he even still did some weird shit like post Gump. But I mean, Robert Zemeckis has always been one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. And he was a very gracious and nice guy when I got to meet him very briefly at a screening of The Walk.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love how weird this movie is, and I love the way he uses special effects, and it's low tech but high tech, obviously for the time, but everything holds up really well by today's standards. Like I don't look at this and I'm like, oh, that looks like shit, or that looks like this. Some of the skin stretching stuff is like a little cartoony, but what do you expect?
But
You
if
know.
you, but honestly, this, remember me telling you about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing though? If you watch this on a VHS,
Oh
it
yeah,
looks fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Judged on the era of home video it came out in.
Like
Yes,
you watch it on Blu-ray, it's gonna have a little bit of that 90s, but and
In
yeah,
fact,
Meryl,
Caitlin and I saw it on VHS at like on a giant screen. Remember
That's
that in Philly? We went to
Yes.
see the
oh,
VHS screening of it, and it was the Nicole's told us about it, and they like got us tickets to it. So
that's
that
awesome.
was a great. That was a.
It's
Oh
very nice.
God. I
Well,
will
guess
say I don't agree with you
He's
about Texas
living in a house
Chainsaw.
that was freshly unhaunted 2 weeks ago. Fucking nobody else. It's like, well, we haven't had a major haunting in 2 weeks, and I'm like, okay, okay,
Oh god.
sure, I'll sleep in your basement.
Creepy. Ugh.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely.
But see, the thing I always loved about this movie, though, and one I will say this flat out, where's Bruce Willis?
Mm.
Okay,
Yes, there he is.
his best performance. This I
Really?
don't care
Really?
what I don't care what anybody says. If you can point out to like 10 movies on a dartboard that Bruce Willis probably gave 2 farts about, and literally was just there doing his thing. All right. This one he cared about. You could tell from this performance, he really loved this movie.
Okay, I never thought of it that way, but I've always thought of it as this is part of the weird Bruce Willis era as well. Like Hudson Hawk is like one of my all-time favorites, first of all. And you go from like Hudson Hawk to like Death Becomes Her. There was that one where he was like the killer or the villain or something. Was it like Striking Distance or something, or one of those weird ones?
Sins of the Mortal Sins.
Mortal Sins, thank you. Yeah, and then North is actually one of my favorite Bruce Willis performances too. And of course, The Last Boy Scout. I mean, come on, you gotta throw some love for The Last Boy Scout.
I know, but even then, it's like he just kind of showed up. Yeah, okay, yeah, here's my mark. Yeah, I'm drunk. I can actually wake up and like do stuff. Like this is a character. Like this is him. Like
It's fully fledged.
yes, like this is him going like deep into it. Like character makeup, actually showing using his own bald head for his own hairline in this.
And
like,
it worked so well.
It does. It is great. But you know, you're talking about the Robert Zemeckis thing. I always thought that this was going to be a Tales from the Crypt movie, and I've been years. It's under my theory that this was going to be a Tales from the Crypt because there was a deal that Zemeckis and all of them had where they were going to do. There was going to be a bunch of feature films. So one was going to be Demon Knight, one was going to be another one, and I swear to you, Death Becomes Her was going to be Tales from the Crypt.
Some sort of light Night of the Living
totally.
Dead kind of scenario.
Yeah, and what happened is Robert Zemeckis, from what I was told, loved this so much. He's just like, I'm gonna make this a movie. Like, I just want to make this a movie. Like that, and because the special effects got so big, it had to be like a theatrical movie for how much they were paying for it.
And you know, it's this movie also is a fascinating choice to me because it's like the first thing he did right after the Back to the Future trilogy. You know, you finish up this, humongous franchise, and like, what do you do next? Where you do like the weirdest movie of your career. Of course,
fun.
You have fun. Exactly. You have a blast. And I never thought of it like you were saying, it's your favorite Bruce Willis character. I never thought of it that way with him, but I've always thought of it that way with Meryl Streep, which is ironic because she's like one of the most, she's one of the most accomplished actresses ever, but like this role is it for me. It's everything.
Yeah,
It's
like the one role she didn't get nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, and she absolutely
like the one role she didn't get nominated, and she should have. She's great.
Oh my God, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
Okay, so this is my second favorite Meryl. She-Devil.
She-Devil.
The top tier for me.
Oh,
You bastard.
Yeah.
You bastard, Bobby.
She-Devil and this sort of share the same, like Meryl Streep is sort of almost the same exact character.
Yeah, totally.
Well, she kind of is like the bitchy stepmom that she is in that movie. And
Fisher crawled so that Madeline Ashton could run.
oh my God.
Agreed. Just a blonde bitch, a selfish blonde bitch.
And also, She
I
Devil
love
was
this.
comedy. She Devil was Meryl's first comedy. They didn't think she could do comedy yet. And then she did that, and she blew it out of the damn water.
Well,
I
this
can-
one she blew Goldie Hawn out of the water.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shots fired. Oh,
Hi-oh.
Hi-oh. But I honestly like. I'll tell you my favorite part that she does in this movie, like Meryl Streep, is when they're all reading the books and they're like, "How old is she?" And she's like looking at the like she's standing there like this. And she's like, "She's 50." Like,
And they're all like,
she
no.
delivers that so bitchy, and yet it's just such a throwaway line. But I laugh every time at that.
What about the scene where she's waking up and she has like the neck pillow on and the thing, and her maid comes in and like opens the curtains, and she goes, "Don't you have something to say to me?" And she's like, I forget the line. I wish I could remember the line. She's like, "Isn't that what I'm supposed to say on Thursday?" What?
Oh yes, I need it every day now.
Thursday, yeah.
Now it's every
I need you to say it to me every day now.
I loved it. That's a great part.
It's very Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard for me. When you walk in and see her with all of the things on her face and stuff, it's very Norma Desmond.
No, I always
Or
really
what
like
about
the
Pete
ending.
Bergamot's? That's a great part too.
I always
Wait,
really
what?
like the ending of the movie, the way they end up. Like it's a very, like dark comedic, situation or whatever. But I was reading today, apparently that's an entirely reshot ending. I'm sure Ian, you probably know about this as well. In the original version, which tested poorly, I think audiences didn't like it. Bruce Willis like escapes and like meets like a bartender, and then it like flashes forward to like 30 years later, and they're like living together happily, like retired or something. And he like just escaped, their wrath, and they never really got theirs, I guess. But
Well, they
I
don't
don't
really
know.
get theirs
Oh,
anyway.
I didn't hear that. Really?
Yeah,
Never got
and like
to see
Jonathan
that.
Silverman had a role in this movie, got cut out, like one of my favorite
What?
actors. Yeah, there's
Wait.
a lot that got cut out of this movie.
So the ending, the original ending, it didn't show their fate. They just disappeared, and you didn't see what happened to them later.
Yeah,
Poorly written
basically.
ending. Agreed.
Well, I'm
It's just
glad
focused
they
on-
changed that up, because like that would it would have been like, well, what happened to the main characters?
Yeah, that's
That's
just,
the best line when they're sitting in they're both sitting in the back of the funeral, and they're all messed up, and they have their hats and their veils on, and the priest is talking about his life, and he was like, he discovered the secret to eternal life, and then there's just this whole beat of silence, and you just get like almost like a close up
Oh.
on their faces, and it's like family or friendship, and then they just start laughing. That I think is the best. I think that is the best scene.
I think
Just
for
that
me,
moment.
it's
I think
just
that might
Meryl
be my-
Streep, pointing her finger at Bruce Willis, like flaccid, flaccid, flaccid.
Flaccid.
It's just gold.
I'm sorry. I'll also say for me the
Like
best
watching
part.
a man who says he enjoys kicking other men in the balls. I'm absolutely shocked both of you agree. Like, oh no, I kicked him in the balls and he doubled over. It was hilarious. I'm like, what?
I
That
still stand
Men
by.
laughing about a woman calling a man flaccid. Confused.
it's hilarious. The way
I
she
still
does
stand
it,
by
again,
Sidney
it's-
Pollack. Sidney Pollack. That little scene of him as he comes as the doctor. He's bending her hand back. It's like, so that doesn't hurt. Well, what about that? But what's great about it is you could actually watch that scene as a perfect way of doing comedy, because
Yeah.
what makes it funny is at first he doesn't react to anything. Like, again, bending her arm all the way back, he's as calm as can be. Like, okay, all right, this is happening. All right, this isn't too weird. Until he goes right for the neck, and that's when everything just switches. We just, whoa, okay, all right. Grabs the stethoscope, doesn't hear the heart, throws him in the trash can, goes back and
Grabs
gets another
another one.
one.
Although I gotta say, I also love the one line Isabella Rossellini, like, give my friend some room to sit down for God's sakes. She just like yells at one of her fucking like
Oh, I
man
love
whores.
I love her screaming and abusing the henchman. Like,
honorable mention.
What's that?
what?
I was gonna say we need to give Isabella Rossellini an honorable
Oh my,
mention.
Oh right.
oh my gosh,
Star of the
Incredible.
film.
Yeah.
Star of the film.
that costume is star of the film. I mean,
Yeah.
alone. I mean, like,
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, like I said before, I was her last Halloween, and like, I was like kind of this close away from like trying to sew the men's, like the male servants' costumes. It was like Tom, Dick, and Harry. Like for my boyfriend, I'm like, would he wear it? Would it be worth it? Would it be funny? Would it?
oh, you should totally have worn it. Come on.
Very gold. Yeah.
Like Isabella Rossellini and him as Lisa and him as like Tom, Dick, or Harry. One of the gorgeous LA henchmen.
Oh man,
That's
that
the
would
kind
be
of
good.
thing-
That would be
those
so
are the
good. So
things that
gold.
amuse me. I don't really
So
know.
one of those dudes is, and I love this, he's from License to Drive, and he's from Wayne's World 2. He played Jim Morrison in Wayne's World 2, and he played
Oh my god.
Heather Graham's boyfriend at the beginning of License to Drive, Apollo or something. The actor's name escapes me, but just one of my favorite like random, like, oh, there's that guy again. Like, I love that dude. But this movie's like, you know, a deeper cast than you would think. Of course, Zemeckis's wife Mary Ellen Trainor shows up, and she's another one that I'm always like, oh, I love her.
What's your secret? Well, I actually use spray paint. It has a chemical that actually bonds the skin together.
And then she's like
Oh,
horrified.
that was a bad thing. Why was that a bad thing? They're dead. Because she just walked away after that.
She did.
It's a weird, to me, it's a lot weirder to ask, like, what do you do to the bodies to fucking get them to look so good, you know? And then than it is to be like shocked by the answer. Like, even if
I
he
feel
said
like it's a
fucking,
question. See, I feel like that's a genuine, easy. I feel like that's a genuine human curiosity. Like, what did you do to make this person look like an alive person? But I also believe that there's no answer that can be like not horrifying.
Oh, right.
I know. It's
from the body.
disturbing, but god dang. I'll tell you though, I dress up like you want to dress like Isabella Rossellini. I dress up every day like Bruce Willis. When he's like drunk at night, Bruce Willis with the cardigan and the button up, like that's my style. That's my jam. That's
I could see that. He's got a very like Yo Teach kind of vibe to him.
that's right.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. He's got a sort of, you know, professorial look. I don't know. I could see him with the corduroy blazer with the elbow pads and, you know, the cob pipe. I could see you doing that shit.
You're alive.
See, I don't want to dress
It's a
up
miracle.
like Rossellini. I want to be Lisa in Death Becomes Her. I just want to be her. I want to become her. I want to be that. Just
It'll only
eternally
cost you all the money you have in the world.
I was gonna say I
all gorgeous henchmen, swimming naked. Yeah, I want it all.
But yeah, okay. But here, let me ask you this:
The
Would
stained
any
glass window.
the skyline, the
An
Sistine
elevator
Chapel
in the
skyline?
house.
But would any of you actually take the offer if you were offered it, where you can be young for 20 years, but after those 20 years you have to disappear? Nobody can ever
Oh,
see
I'm
you.
sorry. Do I have to be young and beautiful 20 years in Italy? Oh, my life is terrible. Oh, no.
But if you trip and fall, you'll break your whole body. That's what the ending told us.
But
No.
they were keeping upkeep, you know? They weren't keeping up with the Jonases or whatever. They were like,
You gotta moisturize, damn
killing
it.
each other.
Drink lots of water.
They were killing each other. It wasn't that, you know.
Yeah.
If it had been one thing, it would have been fine.
I will say this, there's a version of this movie where if you trimmed it down to a half hour, it is a really cool episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Like the
Okay.
story is pretty precise. You could just have this movie you don't even have to have like the beginning where she stole the man and all this stuff. You literally can have it just start from like when they're at the doctor's office, goes to the them, battling each other. and then literally the very end where they're at the funeral. Like there's a half hour of this movie that's
You'd be
the
cutting
best.
gems. You'd be cutting gems.
Well, I agree with you on that. That's why I love that it's a 2-hour Tales from the Crypt movie. But
3 hours, make it longer.
make it longer.
Release the Zemeckis cut, damn it. We need it.
You need it.
No, I mean he had, you know, he had final cut, so this is his cut. It's not like it's not the director's cut. He was, you know, one of the biggest directors in Hollywood, you know, fresh off the Back to the Future trilogy and Roger Rabbit, you know, all this shit. So Romancing the Stone, like he could do whatever the hell he wanted.
I was like, it's perfect as, but like more, please. I love it.
That's a great movie. Well, speaking of more, we it is, you know, incumbent upon us to try and figure out some way to make Death Becomes Her come back, becoming once more. What will become once more? I don't know. At any rate,
You tried it.
I tried. Yeah, didn't really succeed to it. So, but how do you bring it back?
The potion to get your ears working there, buddy.
In the spirit of Tales from the Crypt, yeah, my AirPods are working weird today. But in the spirit of Tales from the Crypt, I think the way to go with Death Becomes Her 2 is to not try. Like, obviously, you can't really do a sequel. These characters are like fragments of corpses, like on the sidewalk. At this point, they're bits.
I don't think why you can't.
What's that?
I say bring them all back. 3D, you know, use them to like back to their work. I think that'd be hysterical. What if they find another Bruce Willis who's able to fix them better? But I want Bruce Willis in there somewhere. I don't know why, I don't know where, but I want it. I feel like they can all come back. Why not? Bring them all back, please.
I mean, all the characters basically died at the end of the movie, and then and then Bruce Willis, like he can't even, like he's done. Like I don't think he can act anymore because of his
Wait, did
situation.
Rossellini's character die?
Okay,
No,
not her.
No, she lived.
I want to say,
But-
like, obviously, like, she would sit, like, the next, like, generation of whoever the main characters are would eventually have to stumble upon her, you know, so they could bring Liesel back.
I think that would be cool, and I think
You could
honestly that's sort of the way I would go with it. Is I would sort of like, you know, the thing that fascinates me is that like after 20 years you have to disappear. Like what's that society all about? Like where do all these people go, and like what's that about? Like that's a whole, you could do like a whole season of Tales from the Crypt or like a Black Mirror about like a place like that.
She said she's holding the party for all of her clients, so who are the other people who are young and beautiful forever? We never got
Oh,
to see
there was
that.
Elvis, there was Marilyn, they were at the party.
Marilyn Monroe,
Jim Morrison was there, right? Yeah.
James Dean, Jim Morrison,
Yeah.
so many other ones that I cannot remember at this particular moment. Yeah.
But yeah, there's
And,
a
like,
lot.
So let's say, okay, so let's say we do the remake, right? Like let's say just flat out remake,
Oh,
right?
boo.
Hey, I'm booing it too. I'm just saying, let's get it. Let me do it to get it out of the way.
Dude,
right?
they're gonna
All
have
right.
like Lily Rose Depp or like Demi Lovato for the main
Well,
character.
I was honestly though, when I was thinking,
Dakota Fanning is.
I hate that sentence. That was the worst thing I've ever heard. Lily
I
Rose
know.
Depp and Demi Lovato doing this. Oh, burn it down.
yeah, I would not do that one. I was thinking, okay, you get somebody. I like Ryan Gosling. I think Ryan Gosling's kind of an
Ryan
interesting.
Gosling would be a great.
That's what I'm saying. Like Ryan Gosling for Bruce Willis. Get Margot Robbie,
No,
and I would love Emma
He's
Stone.
not old enough.
Margot Robbie is younger than me.
Yeah.
I know, but like the whole point is for them to look, but for the digital effect, you age them up, and then you get normal Margot Robbie. You know, like that's.
Is
Oh,
Margot
you're literally Back to the
not
Future.
in enough? Is she not in enough? Give me somebody else. She's in everything. I want to see other people.
Fine, take Tanya down at Taco Hut in LA and
I
put her in
know.
a movie. But the point is, if you're gonna sell the damn thing,
Who's that gorgeous actress? God, there's one in that one movie where like the Nazis were. It was in Italy, and she was like,
Oh,
you know, the
Inglorious
scene where she
Bastards?
smoked a cigarette and all the lighters come out to light her cigarette. That classic scene. You know what I'm talking about.
Are you talking about Inglorious Bastards?
No, I don't think so.
How
I
about
believe-
Kirsten Dunst?
What is this? 1997? What is this? What Kirsten Dunst? That came out of nowhere.
I think just that's the problem right there. You know, if you're remaking, you're never gonna take there are not three people out there that are of the stature that Bruce, Goldie, and Meryl were at this point in time. And there is no Zemeckis today. So like I don't know how you're gonna remake this movie. And it's perfect, it doesn't need to be remade. Just replay it. Just hit the play button again. And see, I think these remakes are
Well, that could be for 106 of our episodes out of the 109. It could be just replay the whole movie and everything's fine, Chris.
I know, but like remakes, I mean, come on, that's like we don't do remakes, you know.
No, I was
How
just
do you
saying
expand the universe.
I was just
Give
saying,
me a new
get the
story.
remake.
Don't just retell the same story.
That's what I was saying. Just get the remake out of there. That's how I would do a remake. But for a
Just
sequel,
get it out of there.
This
do
is
it.
how I feel about
But
that.
the only reason I would love to do a remake is that I thought, if you couldn't do Isabella Rossellini, is bringing back Meryl Streep.
Who?
I'm sorry, Caitlin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're still like microphone is peaking or something. I thought it was just my AirPods. Ew. Okay, wait. I think you're
there
back.
we can hear you.
Okay. Who was the woman who was married to Tom Cruise?
Nicole
Nicole Kidman. Oh, Nicole Kidman. I would buy Nicole Kidman in that role.
That would be okay. That's more acceptable. That's more
And
acceptable.
Penelope Cruz, both of his ex-wives. Or his ex-girls or something.
We make Tom Cruise Bruce Willis's character. Boom, done.
Oh, it's Katie. No, it's Katie Holmes. It's Katie Holmes and well, see, first of all, the other thing I thought that would be interesting is that I think there's a good opportunity even if you were gonna do a similar type of plot in a new movie to center it on like a triangle like this. I think it would be interesting to invert the triangle. Why not make it two guys fighting over like a girl instead of two girls fighting over a guy? And like, why not? Like now
this movie does not pass the Bechdel test.
You know what I think? Based on the characters, I think it should be two gay guys.
I kind of think so too. Like honestly, I think that would really work. Like, I mean, just in general, like now men are so much more aware of like trying to stay young and trying to like that wasn't like a thing even like 25-30 years ago. That wasn't as big of a deal. But I think that would be fantastic.
So it'd be three men.
Yeah,
I'd be interested. I mean, honestly, I think it'd be the thing that sold me on the movie was always the special effects. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like as long as the plot really deals with what their bodies go through. I mean, the best part was her freaking
the boobs going off.
The hole in the hole in the chest. Like to this day, I still can't really figure out how they did Meryl Streep's head thing. Like I remember as a kid, I asked my mom, and she said, and this is probably weird because I think my mom's probably listening, but I remember asking my mom, how did they get her head to do that? And my mom said there was a TV screen on the actress, and then they inserted an image on the TV screen. Like clearly that's not how they do it, but like so I'm assuming it was like a green screen effect, but like I still don't know how they did it. I really don't.
Well, I love the effects of this movie because they're just so unique and so weird, and they open so many doors. Like a lot of what they did with this movie went into Jurassic Park.
Yes,
which had also Dean Cundey
that's what I was saying.
Carter.
Like the effects hold up from that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Not that mentor You know what I'm saying? I just think it would be as
Oh man,
sorry.
no, it's okay. Your microphone's like kind of going in and out a little bit. Hopefully it stabilizes or something. Any rate, there are some pitches in the chat, so I do want to get to that. Mikey Riffraff says, pitch. Liesl's cult grows stronger over the years and threatens to take over Hollywood. One of Ernest's children who believe the stories he told must save the day. That's actually really good. I would watch that for sure. Again, Mikey Riffraff, Mike Saunders, another master genius himself.
That is a good setup for a good anthology. Actually,
Yeah.
Ernest Living Dead of Hollywood. You know, him opening the book.
That's a good title.
That's actually kind of interesting. That would actually be a very interesting show. So we actually get to see like Elvis's, you know, his story about going to Lisa and
yeah, Wisconsin Elvis.
And you could go, oh my God, that is great because you could like go through the decades.
I think the idea of like following Lisa through the decades and having her Lisa's story.
That would be so. And if you get one actress, you could have it in different eras, and just the same actress looking. That would be kind of cool.
That would be
That'd actually be really, yeah.
Like, okay, so and you could, I mean, if you wanted to be grotesque and weird, you could take real stories, you know, that real like Hollywood tragedies. I don't know if we want to touch on that. I mean, it's one thing to do Elvis, it's one thing, you know, Maryland, but do you do more like darker LA stories?
You take
like
the Rebecca Schaefer route, is what you're trying to say.
yeah,
here.
like do you do the Bob Crane? You know, did Bob Crane go to Lisa and he had to fake his death? And you know,
you're going Bob Crane, man. That is dark.
Yeah, or do you do Chris Farley? Did Chris Farley disappear before he partied, or did he? You know,
no, because you know Chris Farley
those photos. It's terrible.
Well, that's what I'm
wouldn't
saying.
Sit there and say, "Oh, I need to look young and whatever forever." You know, he just needs to. You know, he would have thought like, "Oh, I need to keep breaking through tables and making people laugh."
Which could be what made him sick. And so the Chris Farley episode is like, you know, Lisa's telling him you need to stop doing this. I mean, so you would have some barriers. You could get some groans naturally just because you're going into. But isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Like we don't
Show that.
I know.
Dang, girl, I can hear you.
I think maybe if you try talking a little further away from the mic and a little quieter, maybe that'll help. Because it seems to me like it's clipping, like it's getting too hot, like it's coming in, it's distorting. But there are more pitches.
But isn't that interesting though? Like we'll boo if I say Bob Crane, but nobody gives a shit if it's about, you know, Marilyn Monroe. Like we can all make theories about Marilyn Monroe, but you know.
Well, they won't let them rest. They
do the John Holmes story with.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, that's fucking dark. Yeah, that's fucked up.
You say that, but add a comedy spin to it.
Wow, the Wonderland murders are so funny.
I mean, you know, but you know what I mean? Like there's an interesting approach to Ernest telling all these living dead Hollywood stories that again in the spirit of Death Becomes Her, you make it funny, you make it a little bit not what the real story is. You can do a Tarantino Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and change the
course of history
and say this is what happened, as long as they disappear at the end.
This is what could have been.
I actually like that. You could do Death Becomes Them or something.
Death Becomes Them. That's a great title.
How politically correct for this day and age.
Oh, yes, Bobby, get in there.
Oh, you know something? Boom. Then it's for this day and age. It's Death Becomes They/Them.
I honestly think that's kind of a cool storyline. Like that's a great show.
Actually, I would watch that. I'm not gonna lie, especially if you can center it. If you can give Liesl a good fucking arc, a good story, then I'm game. And you can still have Isabella Rossellini play her because, you know,
Have you
Doesn't
have
look
you guys
like-
ever seen I'm probably the only one in the room might have seen it. I don't want to assume, but like there's a Tom Selleck Western called Monty Walsh. Have any of you all seen it?
No.
Okay, I was assuming that. Well, it was a TNT Western. It's one of the last Tom Selleck Westerns, but
Oh my God.
listen, Isabella
He's up on the
Rossellini,
hard sell. He's up on the hard sell.
Judge lest ye be judged, sir. Look at that shirt. But if you are watching, she plays like this basically a prostitute, but it's like he's in love with her, and she's this count. He always calls her the Countess. One of the best Isabella Rossellini roles out there. You all have got to see it just for Isabella Rossellini.
Okay.
She is a
well.
good selling point for sure.
Yes, you should watch it, and it's Tom Selleck, which that alone should make anybody want to watch it.
I will say I hear Western and I'm usually like, but then I hear TNT Western and I'm like, maybe. Maybe.
And I was like, oh my God, this is an amazing movie.
Which
What
one?
movie's an amazing movie? Oh man, I can't. Yeah, sorry, you broke out the thing. Stupid microphone. This. But there are more pitches in the chat, at any rate. So what else we got? Alex Bonafonte says pitch Meryl Streep and Goldie and yeah, why can't I talk today? Pitch Meryl Streep and Goldie are desperately trying to acquire the last vial of youth serum. They each hire separate couriers to get the job done. Only this time, the setting is the Hollywood Hills. Yes, it's Team Rollerblades versus the Preps, and death becomes airborne.
Oh my God! It doesn't even work
Alex
as a
Bonafonte
title.
has
It
taken the
doesn't
reins
work.
from Sean Gold. That's right. Death becomes airborne. That seems like such a Sean Gold pitch, but Alex Bonafonte, the man who's been pitching sequels since like day one on this show. Wow, sirs, we are not worthy to any of you.
Well, at least it wasn't Sean, so I'm okay with this.
You know something? I'm just loving it that there's this airborne shit's gonna catch on. You're gonna see, folks. And remember to check out the Airborne Movie Experience coming this summer. That's right. This summer, where? Cincinnati. Never been done before, folks.
And I really look forward to all four of you meeting at the Wendy's on 53rd Street. Like, enjoy that conference. It's going to be fantastic for you four.
Well, Ian, there is a pitch for you in the chat from Sean Gold, so I want you to enjoy this one. Sean Gold says, pitch. The rejuvenation potion is found by some campers at summer camp. They take it as a masked killer stalks them, only it can't kill them. It's Meatballs V, The Undying, soundtrack by Dokken.
Ew.
Oh, come on. We had you until soundtrack by Dokken. You know it.
You really did, actually.
Meatballs V, he even used a Roman numeral for you. Come on.
Yes. Yes, V.
How much more tailor-made could that be? So I think part of what we're figuring out is that it's the echo. I think we're echoing on Caitlin's speakers. You don't have headphones or anything you can plug in, do you? Let's see. That should help a little bit of that. I'm just picking it up now as I'm hearing myself ramble on. And I'm like, sounds like someone's talking through the wall at Caitlin's place.
You ramble, sir.
Oh yeah, that's me. Yes, I do ramble. I do ramble, indeed. But I don't know. I like Bobby's idea too of like that's got to be an episode there where it's like a three, there's like three guys in a love triangle, and one of them wants to just age gracefully, and the other two just want to stay young and beautiful forever. And like I can understand that conundrum, that like crux, if you will, that fork in the road.
Aging like Benjamin Button, so it is very relatable for me.
Yeah,
you are 12 years old, Bobby. I mean,
thank you.
Yes, but the crazy thing is he was 16 when I met him, and now he's only 12. He's going backwards. Like, you're younger, goddammit. Ridiculous.
Well, so I mean, you brought up a good point though. There's no way of doing this direct sequel with this cast. I mean, and I'll be honest, you're right. It's because of Bruce Willis. Like, I would not want this cast without Bruce Willis. Like, don't replace him. Don't give me a new, don't give me a new. What was his name in the movie? Ernest. Like, don't give me a new Ernest. I want. Bruce
Well,
Willis.
it's unfortunate that he can't really act anymore, because it would be great to say that, like, hey, who knows how many times throughout his life Helen and Madeline showed up at his place, Like,
Yeah.
how many times did they cross paths again? Did they try and pull some shit on him? Like, or how many other people did he cross paths with in that cult? The stories could be legendary. It sounds like he had a lot more than just the tale that we saw.
Oh yeah, no. Which is why I'm saying, like, the TV show version, like I said, is kind of an interesting approach to it. As far as like a movie would go, though, like, I have heard that there is going to be potentially a remake. Is that not true?
I've heard something about that. I really hope not, because that would be such a bummer.
I've heard that, but the issue with the remake is, like I said, it's the special effects won't wow you anymore, because any movie has the special effects like this. The whole point was that we had never seen special effects like this before. Yeah,
I mean,
like,
that was the selling point. That wasn't like the substance point, though, for me.
I think
It's a good story, and it's so funny and quippy and smart.
And weird and unique.
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Kaylee. Yes, yay!
Yay.
I don't think stuff.
Awesome.
Very much.
So
Now let
clearly.
Caitlin. We're just gonna let you talk the rest of the show, because we didn't get to
Yes.
hear some of the.
Now I don't know what to say.
Yeah, now the pressure's on. Well, shit. Well, so if you do the TV show, what do you see? I mean, how do you give an arc to Liesel? Like, how do you, what does she go through from the end of season 1 that puts her in a different place?
I have a theory about Lisa, that she is like Cleopatra. I don't know why. It's just like those ancient hieroglyphics and those little box and everything like that. I don't know. Start Lisa's.
Could be.
Remember, she said she was only 71.
Oh, that's right.
But what would be
okay.
actually interesting is like a prequel to Liesel. How did she get this potion? How is she the chosen one? And like you said, you thought she was Cleopatra. I thought she was like, when I was rewatching it today, I forgot she was only 71. I thought
Yeah,
she
me
said
too.
like, I'm 500 years old, but she said she's only 71. So I want to know like how she got the potion, how she became the chosen one. So a prequel to Liesel's life would actually be really interesting.
I
I
think
would
so
totally
too.
watch that too. Yeah, like the rise of Liesel. Like, I would watch the shit out of that.
Oh yeah.
I'm calling Isabella Rossellini.
With Lily Rose Depp as Lisa.
Why are you killing me here? Why are you killing me? What did
Why
I
are you
ever do to
doing
offend
this?
you so badly?
Yeah.
Horrible.
How could you
I
do
think we gotta
this
hate
to us?
just because she stars in a porno on HBO. Everybody hates
How
her.
about we just really
She's not
make
pretty.
it
She's not a good actress. She's not compelling. I don't get it. I know people on my block who I would rather see on TV than Lily Rose Depp. Goddamn.
Ian's like, okay, starring Megan Fox.
And I love that she does the soda drink. She's like, haha, bam, drink.
Gotta get the bad taste of Lily Rose Depp out of my mouth.
How about we just ruin it completely and hire Blue Ivy Carter?
I don't even know
I'm
what
getting
that
off this
is.
call. That's it.
I love that. That's the best thing I've ever heard. Thank you for not knowing who that is. It's Beyonce's kid.
Oh,
What
okay.
little girl that looks like Jay-Z?
Dude, I thought you don't know that. Keep not knowing, honestly.
Now,
Just leave it.
Beyonce would be an interesting.
No.
No, hold, sir.
Wait a minute.
Sir.
A bionic Beyonce? Is that what you're pitching? Because that's what it
No,
sounds
I'm
like.
just saying Beyonce is like
Beyonce?
Beyonce is queen, and her in the Lisa role would be very interesting. She did okay in Goldmember. She's not the worst actress.
She did not do okay in Goldmember. That was the
She did not
worst
do okay.
of the film.
Not very good.
Okay, well, 3 opinions can be wrong too, but
especially when they're not Ian's. When all
right.
3 of them are not Ian's.
I don't know. But like Beyonce could do like a role, and as maybe the one who gave it to Liesel. I don't know.
I would.
The question,
I would
the
watch
question is,
that.
who is better than Isabella Rossellini? And that is a hard
Nobody.
actress. Like she
Yeah.
is a one of a kind kind of actress. Like
I
like
don't know. She's no Bonsai. You know, you should fix the sconce with
Bonsai?
Bonsai.
I'll say.
Ian is incapable of pronouncing a lot of people's names the right way. Anyone famous. It's one of my favorite Ian characteristics, though. I gotta
That's
say.
not true. I know Jack Nicholson, but I just seriously though, like who could you replace with her? And I don't know. You know, like the only other actress who is like in there with her for me is like Isabella Johnny, which is like 30 years too late. You know, like
Selma Hayek could definitely have been.
okay, all
that's a
right.
because she's
There
just
you
not
got
aged
Gorgeous.
ever.
there you
That's-
got
yeah.
me. You got me on Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
Selma
watch
Hayek
that.
would be. Yeah.
That is another
I'd watch
sweet.
Salma Hayek brush her teeth. I would watch that on repeat, actually.
That's
Yeah.
how
I would pay good money to watch Salma Hayek brush her teeth. Like
I would too.
All right. Let's not get weird about it.
There's
says
nothing
Chris.
weird about
Says
of
Chris,
absolutely
like-
worshiping Selma Hayek. That's natural, my friend.
Like when she says
Like, where
in
do I
Dusk Till
sign up
Dawn,
for this? Like,
Yeah.
when she says in Dust from Dusk Till Dawn, like you will lick, you know, you are my dog. You will lick, you know, crap off of my heel. Like
I would.
bless her heart. Nobody remembers that.
no, it's
Oh,
one of the
not
great.
thinking about her. There's
It's a moment of silence in honor
Yeah,
of the great.
we're all
Selma
just
Hayek,
singing.
you
We're
know?
all just singing.
I was having a Quentin Tarantino
Oh,
moment about
okay,
it.
another
That's what-
We're just hearing that song.
I will give you this. Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Gorgeous.
Oh yeah, that would be fucking great too. I gotta say that would be
That is a
excellent.
queen. I'll give you Catherine Zeta-Jones. That she would be good in that role.
That
I'll
would be
take
really
her
good.
or Lily Rose Depp, who has already gotten enough screen time on this episode. So let's leave her out of this now.
She can
Yes.
take all the screen time she wants. She's a Depp. Let her be, man.
Well-
Anyway,
Yeah. I don't know. I like the idea that I like this show idea and I like the prequel idea. I like that you could explore this like society, like, that kind of interests me a lot. And I think with that you get a lot of 90s nostalgia, if done the right way. Like the like when I think Secret Society, like I always I'm just thinking like the Midnight Society from Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like it just feels like very 90s.
Oh
It's a
my gosh.
90s
Okay, you've got Catherine Zeta-Jones as a person, and just for you, Bobby. All right, just for you, her butler is John Waters.
Oh,
that
that'd be
would
good. Okay,
That would
what
be
if Lisa was now, what if there was a male version of Lisa? Who would that be? Would it be like John Stamos or someone, that like never
John
ages?
Stamos does not age. Yes, I will give you. John Stamos would work.
John Stamos, if you're watching this, I would sit on your face at any time of the day.
What about Henry?
I get called out for what I
Cavill?
said
How is it
about
pronounced?
watching Salma Hayek, but Bobby can sit on John Stamos' face. Like, what
Bobby
is
makes
this?
it sound a lot more casual than you did. Like, I don't know. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, you weirdo. What were you gonna say, Caitlin?
I was saying Henry Cavill could play a male Lisa. I would like to see him wearing that.
Oh, or Jason Momoa too. He would be
Or
great
Jason
also.
Momoa. That was my original thought, and then I was like, Henry Cavill.
Oh, but then another Lisa could be Lisa Bonet.
She
I'd watch
doesn't.
that.
I would watch that. I would love to see Lisa Bonet in this role. Have you
Oh
ever
my
seen
God.
what's that movie that Bill Cosby freaked out that she made? Where
Oh,
she
Angel,
was
Oh, Angel Heart.
Angel Heart, yeah.
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 So I could see like some similarities in the roles in that sense a little bit.
Adam Sandler.
No.
No.
Oh my Lord.
All right, I'm gonna go for it. Robert Downey Jr.
Oh my Lanta. There he goes. There he goes again. Ian's number one thing. That's like me saying like Christoph Waltz should play the villain. Like it's in there.
Oh!
That's what I always say.
Christoph Waltz.
Yeah,
that-
because he definitely looks very spry and not gray.
You're a horrible man.
I'm just saying, like, if you wanted to be young, like I drank the young potion, I drink the youth potion.
I'll go John Stamos.
What about a group of people
Rob
who
Lowe.
find out about the potion and try to kill everybody who's taken the potion? How about like an actual bad guy?
I like that.
Okay, I like that. That's interesting. It's like
That is really good.
Rob Lowe. You said it, Rob Lowe, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rob Lowe, I thought, in the Stamos role, but who would the villain be, though? Who's the opposite of, like, young and, like, got, like, some Sam Elliott type of dude, like cult leader Sam Elliott, or, like,
Steve Buscemi?
What?
Steve Buscemi?
Like Chris
Steve
Christopherson?
Buscemi.
I would watch that.
You need, like, a salty dog, you know what I mean?
You do.
Robert Redford.
Yeah. Oh, nah, fuck
I'm
him.
looking around the room for options here, honestly.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, would be great to get one more villain in there. Monica Thyme in the chat says use Isabella's daughter.
Oh, did she have a daughter? I didn't.
Okay, and to be fair, in the chat, the soundtrack by Dawkins was its own separate pitch, separate from the Meatballs 5 pitch from before, Ian. So you can rest assured.
Nope, I heard a terrible soundtrack for a terrible movie.
You heard a different pitch that was read in succession too fast. Well, maybe if we're lucky, Dawkins can come rip some tracks that slap for this film just to annoy Ian while he eats his gas station pizza. But I mean, I think we're in the ballpark there. Maybe not 100%, but I do think the point is, so smarter people than us could figure out how to bring back this franchise in a tasteful way and continue the story rather than retell and rehash the same old shit with inferior movie stars, because we're not in the movie star era anymore. But that's, I don't know how.
That's
Say that
so
again? Yeah. Well, that's all I have to say about that in the Forrest Gump words. But before we do wrap it up, Caitlin, Bobby, Ian, is there anything you guys have got coming up in the works for let the people at home know about? Scripts, podcasts, articles, anything?
Nothing named. Still working on it.
Bobby,
in progress. When, it's coming. The show's coming. It's coming, you guys.
It's coming. Ian, anything coming your way?
No, I'm a little behind on my articles, so again, stay tuned soon for a B movie article coming your way soon.
You're all a bunch of slackers, I tell you. You think
it's summer, man. What do you
think summer is just for laying around the pool? Nah. It's about grinding it out and putting the hard hat on the head and the pail and the lunch in the pail.
The audacity of you telling us this, sir.
I know.
He's a workhorse. He doesn't stop.
That's true. That's true. I've barely even eaten today.
A dead horse can be called a workhorse. Just doesn't
well. It's like they say, don't shoot a dead horse. So story of my life. All right, well, you Fandom fans might want to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we go VHS virtual reality for our Captain Power episode. If you don't know what Captain Power is, well, you better ask somebody. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you may as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight,
Bobby,
the
we'll do
Network,
Pink
and
Flamingos
Pop
too
Culture
soon,
Punk.
I promise.
Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.
Audacity! Like, what?